Yeah, we got a lot to do today. So we are testing Unreal 5. Yeah, we're testing Unreal 5. And we're going to show you what we've made in Unreal 5. And you're going to be able to play in Unreal 5, which is going to be a little anticlimactic because all we did was take the current demo and port it over, which wasn't as easy as we thought it would be. We hit a couple snags along the way, but Harry and has been able, and Nizul have plowed through it and fixed what was going on. No, there's no face tracking in Ember yet. I saw that they did in Star Citizen. That's pretty cool. We're also going to go start streaming more regularly. So for those of you who don't know, I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy. It's the first MMO I've really fallen in love with since World of Warcraft. And you can expect me to be streaming that again on Tuesdays. Yeah, no one should be low on volume because I've actually muted everyone on stream except for myself in this beginning phase. Networking was nothing was changed on networking. You guys will be able to test that. So that build will be available for download after the character presentation here. But the first thing we're going to do is the character presentation. And I'm going to tweet this out first. Oh, is there? Oh, well, are you listening to the audio on Discord and then watching the Twitch stream? Because it should be synced on Twitch. Okay. Well, there's no audio in this next section, but let me go ahead and tweet this out. And let's see. We are live on twitch.tv from Em8er, where we are about to reveal our Unreal 5 character demonstration. And first playable Unreal 5. First playable Em8er build in Unreal 5. Think that'll get people in here? All right, let's wait for this room to pick up a little bit more. So it has been. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's. I like the shirt a lot. I like guitars a lot. I've on a mission to get better at guitar, to actually be proficient. I've only been sort of like noodled around, and that's my 5-year goal is to become really, really good at guitar. So the shirts go with that. The shirts help. Got to have the shirt. I look younger than you imagined? I mean, I don't know. Here, this is what you normally see me at on stream. And this is the YouTuber reveal. Yeah, I have looked into Rick Beato's stuff. I've looked into music as Win, a couple guys, and I really want to get better at guitar. But we're talking Em8er today. So you notice that I got Discord chat happening up here. If you haven't joined our Discord server, please join it now because we do raffles during Chief Chat where you can get access to the game demos as we build a mock-up for the game for Kickstarter. And the really big deal is that we're switching to Unreal 5. Unreal 5 is not even ready yet. It's just in preview. But we think it's gonna be really great for like our art pipeline. Save us a lot of time for creating some of the mecha in the game while making the mecha, sufficiently detailed. And we are also going to be showing you a character demo here. I'm just waiting for some more people to get into the room. We have done a character demo, but let me show you what we're talking about. So where is the mouse cursor? So if I go into here, let's see. Okay, so this is the marmoset render. We've shown this before. This is not Unreal. This is a... let me turn off Discord here. This is the CSR concept art. Cute Sexy Robots is our waifu concept artist for Em8er. And for those of you who don't know, Em8er is a trifecta. It's basically mechs battling giant kaiju with your favorite waifu or husbando. Or as we shorten the trifecta, it's waifu mech kaiju. So CSR does our art, and you can see CSR stuff on Twitter, but it's not safe for work. I just want to point that out. But it is at Cute Sexy Robots. If someone wants to post the link in both Discord and our stream, definitely want you guys to check that out if you are not at work, because it's definitely not safe for work. And while there's no Rule 34 of our characters, CSR could easily cross the line in his other artwork that you'll see. And so some people asked us a while back, can you actually capture in the game the feel of the concept art? And so we set ourselves a task. We set ourselves a task to recreate the feeling of CSR's art in our game, in game, right? Not our game engine, but in Unreal. So what you see on the right is a render not from Unreal. This was a render we posted some time ago, which was done in Marmoset. And we did render it in RTX. So we used ray tracing, and but it's not in game, right? It's not in real. So people are like, is that really going to be what it's like in game? And so we decided to put together a visual test. Now, the visual test we did, I'll put some caveats. We used high definition textures, something that you'd see in, say, a cinematic in Unreal. And we combined it with our game model. So the model that you're about to see is completely real-time, running in Unreal Engine 5. Unreal Engine 5 has a new lighting model called Lumen, which offers global illumination, reflections, and is sort of like, I would say, an enhanced or a software version of what you might expect to get from RTX, but without using any sort of RTX NVIDIA hardware. So that's kind of interesting. And so the quality you're seeing is like if you saw an Unreal Cinematic where we bumped everything up. In-game, the textures would be lower, but you're also farther away from the character. But we're also looking at, in photo mode, allowing you to load those high-res textures so you can get like really, really good screenshots. So I've been talking a lot. You guys want to see the video? We prepared a little video for you here. Yeah. You guys want to see the video? I think so. So this is your game character. Poly count's about 100K at LOD 0. Yeah, someone noticed the little black dots. Okay, so let me talk through it now because I have it on loop. And I'll put myself back on camera here. Or not. So I have it on loop, and you'll notice that there's little black dots that are appearing here. That is a artifact of Lumen. There's some settings we can tweak, but when you get really close to something and you're rendering it in using the Luma engine in Unreal 5, again, we're doing this in Unreal 5. You can see a little bit of artifacting, the little black dots that appear. That can be tuned out. And I think also keep in mind that Unreal 5 is in Preview 2. It's not even in full release. So we are we are looking at, very, very rough, code from Epic. And they haven't finalized the renderer yet. We expect that there will be continued performance improvements. The video should not be stuttering. If it's stuttering, I apologize. It could be my stream. I do have to get a new router. A new router would be good. Okay, video is smooth for you guys. That's good to know. So yeah, this is real time, and I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to actually open up Unreal 5 and move around here. So let me see if I can get that up and running while you guys are watching the video. It might stutter when I'm opening Unreal 5. We'll see, because it's loading a lot of stuff in the background. Let's see how beefy my system is. So there's a couple lights in this scene. We animated the lights just to give it a little bit of sense of emotion and motion. And we have, obviously, we have 4K textures loaded right now. These are full 4K textures on the model, and there's a couple of them. And obviously, in-game, it won't be 4K. We will downsize it as you pull out from the character, and then, like I said, in character create screen or in photo mode, we want to put that back in, if we can. So a couple things we learned. This is... that Lumen is incredible. Lumen looks fantastic. The lighting is really what makes it. And Lumen is also slow right now. So it's not as slow as, say, turning on RTX or anything like that. But I think if you want to run Lumen, you're going to need a pretty fast system. The other thing that will compensate, obviously, is running any sort of, super sampling. So like using DLSS from NVIDIA buys you back a lot of frames, as well as AMD's open solution. Yeah, we can't run 4K textures in an MMO, so expect that to be, when you're not in photo mode, expect that to be scaled down. But I think that, and the other question I have, and that I don't have an answer for, maybe you guys have an answer, is can we turn Lumen on and off? We're able to turn some things on and off, like global illumination, reflections, things like this. But, I'm wondering if we can turn it all off. I think in our game demo, it's actually all off. And you're going to see the frame rate for that. Because the next question you have is, because we have the actual game demo that we made with Unreal 4 running on Unreal 5, and you guys are going to try that. So I want you to tell me what the frame rate difference is if you see one. All right, I'm going to load up. Let's see. All right, so just to prove to you that this is, running in real time, I'm going to bring up let's see where I had Unreal running. Don't you love it when you get everything set up before stream and then you actually can't see anything? There we go. All right. So this is what you just saw in Unreal Engine 5. We do plan to have multiple heads for... who asked that question about will there be other head styles? So this is the scene. You can see that she's standing on a plinth here, moving around in real time. You can get a close-up of her face. And we did do a lot of polys for the navel. You can't see it under the suit, but it's there. And I would be remiss if I did not show you some of the details on this suit, like the little Neko clasp here. We spent about 6,000 polygons on that. No, just kidding. You can see the details of the tail. So this is not Nanite or anything. Some people are probably wondering, hey, since this is Unreal 5, are you using Nanite? No, you can't use Nanite on skinned meshes. This is a skinned skeletal mesh. So this is not Nanite, but the mechs can be Nanite. That's something that we've been, for the past several weeks, you know, we haven't, I looked, we haven't streamed in 20 days. I mean, we did chief chats in between, but we hadn't streamed in 20 days. So, you know, part of that is we were working with the artists on new tools and new workflows to just to deal with Unreal 5. Because Unreal 5, you know, you can have basically polygon soup. You can have a ton of polygons for your static meshes, not your characters, right? And we have been looking at using Nanite for hard surface modeling so that we can save the step of doing, you know, usually when you make a high poly static mesh, you have to do a low poly, and then you have to do what's called a bake. You have to bake normal maps to make the low poly look high poly. And we don't want to do that. That's a huge time sink. That's easily more, you know, almost as much time as making the high poly. Sometimes more, depending on the complexity on wrap. So we've been developing an art pipeline where we can model the stuff, auto-generate the UVs we need, and not have to do a low poly version and save a bunch of time and get a lot more details on the mechs. And for that to happen, we needed Unreal 5. So I've been really excited to see this out here. Yeah, the golem in the Unreal 5 demo is completely made out of nanites, and it's not a skinned mesh. So they were able to do that. That's what gave me the idea. It's like, hey, why can't we do this with mecha? Right, because mecha aren't skinned mechs, skinned meshes or skeletal meshes. So why don't we see if we can use Nanite for that? And it turns out we can. It turns out we can, and it turns out that we potentially don't have to build any low poly whatsoever, and Unreal 5 will just handle that seamlessly and do all the LODs. Now, in order to get the stream back, I have to do this. Okay, now I've lost it. Let me see if I can get it back. I'll turn on the FPS counter. Sorry, there's... Streaming Unreal is always kind of dicey. Like, if I hit the UI menu, then the picture comes back. I don't know. Part of this is I want to approach Epic and apply for an Epic MegaGrant. And I know the VP of Epic, and I know Tim, but I didn't want to go to them with, you know, the white box graphics that we have now. And I didn't want to go with our older graphics. I wanted to go with Unreal 5 graphics. So part of this is part of what we're developing here is this look development, is stuff that I get to show Epic, and then talk to Tim and talk to Mark Rain about an Epic MegaGrant for the game, because we'd really like to do that. An Epic MegaGrant does not mean that we're tied to the Epic Store whatsoever. I want to point that out. And we have already said we're not going to be tied to the store. An Epic MegaGrant is a no-strings-attached grant. Believe it or not, Epic does a lot of good stuff for game devs, right? You can argue whether they're doing anything good for gamers, but they are doing a lot of good stuff for game devs. And if we were to accept an Epic MegaGrant, we would not be... we would not have to sign any sort of exclusivity. We would not have to even... You don't even have to be on the Epic Store, right? We plan to be on every store. So Steam, Epic, GOG, and direct from us, obviously. All right. I don't know what's going on here. Come on, give me control back. There we go. Oh, So this is our character. This is our actual in-game model. The textures are way high. They're 4K. They won't be 4K when you're running around. Obviously, when you're in a mech, you don't need 4K textures either. One thing I want to point out is this skin is available for your character through the... if you were a monthly patron, this was a skin that we released through the monthly patron program. But you can get it now in the standalone store. So as of today, this skin will be available for 1 week till next Friday. And you can have this for your character. And it will be a peerless grade skin. That means that it has advanced material options that you can swap in and out. And there's going to be mesh options too. So probably things like we're going to give you a couple tails that you can swap out. We're going to give you, maybe a little cute little clasp. You can change the clasp on there. The greaves, we might have a couple different style of greaves here. And a couple different styles of ears. Any sort of, our skins come in 3 grades. And the Peerless grade lets you swap out mesh items on the skin as well as advanced materials. You can swap out materials on here. So it is the most customizable of all 3 tiers. And that's what you get with the monthly patron program. And there will be a new skin for the monthly patron program on the 20th. So tomorrow we're releasing a new skin, a new pilot skin. And you'll be able to see that. So if you missed your chance to get the Neko skin, this skin that I'm showing you right now, in game, you can get that today. That will be available in our store. I don't know if it's up yet. Amelia is supposed to be putting that up. If she's watching the stream, now is the time. Yeah, there'll be a new skin on the 20th for a monthly patron. So the way it works is monthly patron is $7.95 a month, and you get a new skin or a new weapon skin or, a pet or a mount, various things on a monthly basis, and they're all peerless grade. So they're guaranteed rare quality or higher because the drops for these are rare. And it's also store availability. Store availability is rare. And so the skin is up right now for this Neko skin. And again, this is the in-game model. We're in Unreal 5. And as you can see, we have completely switched over to UE5. Now, I'm getting about 40 frames a second here, but I am running a lot of my machine. And we haven't optimized yet. And so I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, gee, what's the frame rate going to be like in-game? Well, you're going to be able to experience that because we have ported the current white box demo to Unreal 5. And I'm going to be showing you that in a little bit here. But meanwhile, I'll take questions. So I'm going to switch to my VTuber here so I can have a sip of my beverage. So someone's asking, will there be boob sliders? Yes, there will be a boob slider. The one thing that we're debating is character height. And character height is tricky for us. It's tricky for us because we have Omni frames that you need to fit into, especially the medium Omni frame. And we have interiors with that are physical. Like, I've been playing a lot of Star Citizen. I'm a big fan of, some of the vehicles in the game having physical interiors, and they have fixed seats and they have to hold controls and things. And so it's important that we maybe have a standardized sort of male and female height so that everything works, because I like the immersion that Star Citizen gives you when you can walk into these vehicles, right? So for those of you who don't know, there are, in addition to Mecha, there are vehicles in the game planned. There's tanks, hovercrafts, things like this. There's also space trucking. We've talked about non-combat duties, and essentially you're going to be, in the release of the game, you're either going to be a mech pilot going out there and fighting against invasions against the kaiju and the Tsihu, or you're going to be a miner going out there mining resources to craft everything in the game, and you're going to be driving those resources to the front lines. And what are you going to be driving those resources to the front lines in, you might ask? Well, I'm glad you asked that question. So let's see. We have this. This is your space truck. I'll switch back. I see that. I see that the the demo is already on the page. If it is, that's okay. You can go ahead and download it. I'll join you in a second. You guys can test that out. But this is the space rig. I turned my avatar off so you can see it clearer. And this is a resource hauler. So this is how you can get resources to the front lines. Wherever invasions are happening, you may want to cart a bunch of resources there so you can buff the army that's fighting in that zone. And so this is our idea for what that might look like. And the space truck actually has a lift. It's got an interior. You can go up into it. That's the plan. And let's see. So it's divided up into a couple of rooms here. This is the engine room in the lower deck. You can monitor the engine systems. There is the cockpit, which seats 3 people. So you can have like a driver, you can have a gunner, and you can have maybe an ops guy or someone. There's going to be a front-mounted laser on this, so if you need to like nuke obstacles, road boulders in the way, or that type of thing. And of course, you know, stuff will be attacking you as you get these resources to the front lines. There's even a break room. I just keep thinking of aliens when I see a break room in a sci-fi setting. I think someone's going to be on that table and something's going to burst out of their chest. That's what I think. A sleeping area. Oops. With complete with a bathroom and a shower. And then back to the base truck. Yeah, so oh no, Si's like something's gonna happen on that table. All right, so these are the latest drawings that we have of the space truck that will ferry resources. You'll have to drive this to ferry resources to the front line. There'll be these cargo containers that attach on the back. And I'm thinking these can be multi-purpose. Like maybe this could even be a carrier. There could be a module that holds omniframes so that you can haul omniframes across terrain. So a little space truck can never hurt anybody. And let's see, what else should I get out of the way before everyone is in the build and we're talking about the build? Let me go ahead and show you. So I know that some of you guys have been asking about the Brontodon plushie. This is the new version of the Brontodon plushie. This is a prototype. We call ours an Em8er. And that's the top view. And this is a third party that's approached us wanting to make plushies of the game. They do very good business making game plushies. And so they approached us, someone I know, an acquaintance of mine in the industry, and said, we want to make plushies for Em8er. And I said, I don't know about that. And they were like, no, let's go ahead and try it. We'll do a prototype and you let us know what you think. So we have Em8er in the game that are planned. This is what they look like. I think he's got a cute face. For those, yeah, the whole question is, do you guys want these? Because we can make them, but the factory wants 1,000 people to commit. We have 30,000 people on the mailing list. If 1,000 people step up and say that and commit to buying a plushie, then we can make this happen. And yeah, you could buy multiples too. So we have to get that implemented on our website where you can, like, you know, without purchasing it, you can make a commitment to buy. maybe enter your financial information, but nothing gets charged. And if we hit like 1,000 people, then it's like a little Kickstarter, not on Kickstarter, but it's a little website campaign that says, yes, enough people want plushies. Let's tell the factory to go ahead and make them. And then people get charged, and then it gets shipped out to you guys. You want a Lucretia plushie? That's funny. All right, so I know a bunch of you are already jumping in here into the build, so I think it's time that we test the prototype, the white box prototype in Unreal 5. Wouldn't you guys agree? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to quit Unreal here, and then I'm going to go ahead, Ember test. We're testing a lot of stuff today. We're also testing the new macro setup I have here. So let's do a sound check. Can you guys hear the game login screen in the background? You should be hearing some environmental noises. Yep, you can hear it? Good. Okay, let's see if we get... All right. You guys see the login screen? So this is the same demo you played last time, except we are now running in Unreal 5. And so while we haven't taken advantage of any of the graphical updates that Unreal 5 offers, we wanted to know that the game would work for you guys in Unreal 5, because Unreal 5 is not released yet. Unreal 5 is just in Preview 2. And because it's in Preview 2, we don't know if it's going to run on your machine. So now's the time, folks, that everyone can log in. You can download the build, and you can jump in. We're going to be on the US server. And I'd like to know if you notice any difference, because you shouldn't. Hopefully, if all goes well, you shouldn't notice any difference. We did fix the reticule bug. So, okay, I'm going to loop in the rest of the community team and Harry right now, because Harry did the heavy lifting on this. And I'm going to unmute, and you guys are live. Welcome, welcome. I'm going to go ahead and log in. We have 3 servers, by the way. For those of you who are new, we have servers in North America. We have servers in Europe. Okay, this is our little white box hangar. And there's already lots of stuff going on. Someone spawned a thumper encounter here. We are multiplayer. We've had up to 100 people in the build. These are we call them knee biters. They're just cubes right now. Everything is cubes. Sounds are placeholder. Graphics are placeholder. The main point of this is just to see if we are running in Unreal 5. And it looks like we are.
Quick audio check.
I can hear you, Harry.
I'm too loud on the screen.
So let's get some missile locks on these guys. Yeah, missiles are working.
Second audio check.
You're a little low, Harry.
On the stream I'm okay.
Okay, that's fine, as long as you're okay on the stream.
The gunfire is a little bit loud, but that's okay.
Harry, you want to walk us through, like, some of any sort of challenges we had porting to Unreal 5 and what sort of things are changing?
Yeah, so a lot of the problems when you have like sort of major, because this is the first major engine revision in several years, right? All the sort of point 27 and point 26, the things that we were improving from now on were all minor engines. If this is major engine revision, meaning the primary point of conflict is always going to be the third-party stuff, like plugins and whatever GitHub code you happen to have downloaded along the way, right? That you don't necessarily yourself maintain. So a lot of those didn't work. Incidentally, DLSS specifically did the sort of the legwork. They ported it over for the 5.0, so that was okay. That was great. Vice did also, but more on the sort of more on the down low. They will officially sort of support it only with the stable release. Some plugins we had to remove, but none that are equally important. Most of them were developer sort of quality of life things. So with all that said, it was surprisingly smooth. There was one specific issue I had spent a long time sort of figuring out. It was an issue that for an infinite sort of load, you couldn't load into the game, right? You just loaded into the black screen. So I, did the sort of reverse engineering thing to figure out what was happening. It was an issue with Vice. I don't know what the specifics of it are. I know I just know that when I flipped a few flags, it started working, and the sound's working. So hey, ship it. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah. Outside of that, everything seems to have worked okay. There was one specific weird or odd bug with blend spaces. Now nobody probably know what that is. I don't really know what that is since that's an animation thing. But when you were gliding, you weren't sort of tilting up and down. Your character specifically, like your glide direction was fine. Specifically, just your character wasn't, diving and it wasn't rolling. I think it's some specific bug with UE5 that they will have to address at some point because it's a feature of the sort of animation system that it's not working, right? In a quick shell, what's happening is that for the you basically take one animation and you modify it in the engine using something called additive track layer or something like that, right? And you're basically modifying the animation slightly. And specifically in the blend space, it's not working. So it's a very niche issue, but it caused to the gliding animations to break. So we sort of had to work around that. We sort of had to create the animation outside of Unreal Engine, or we sort of had to bake it in, as it were. And one major unfortunate drawback of this is that nativization is no longer supported. They sort of gave up on this because getting nativization to work in 4.26 was challenging. It had a lot of pitfalls that you had to learn to avoid. That were not documented anywhere. All of it was very nebulous, very esoteric. Sort of stuff like the game wouldn't load at all when unnativized asset was referencing a nativized asset, and so on and so forth. It's something. When you go into a really like close to production ready build, isn't really feasible to sort of manage and handle. Like, eventually the sort of reference network explodes in complexity and you can't track all of it. I'm fairly certain that none of the like, let's say AA size project used nativization simply because it was such a problem to get it to work. So they sort of stopped supporting it in Unreal Engine 5, which for us specifically is unfortunate because we did get it to work and we saw some nice performance increases. So we're gonna see what the performance of the server is at now, because last time we tried this, even with the sort of performance improved nativized build, we had issues. Like server CPU was, chugging on all valve engines, pistons, whatever. And you were seeing stuttering, especially while gliding. You were sort of doing, when you try to turn while gliding, you got the zigzag sort of trail. So that's the symptom of the server being overloaded. So this only really started happening with the Thumper encounter. We're bringing in a lot more sort of AI interaction, a lot more AI behavior. So that's what was happening. So it was going to be interesting to see how it handles. And fundamentally, what we want to find out is whether there are, like for example, now the missiles exploded in your face for some reason.
Yeah, that was weird. It was working earlier. Let me try it again. Oh, these guys.
So there might be some very odd things that are not working, right? And that's what we're trying to figure out. But all in all, even this is not exactly a simple project anymore. Like it might be some sort of like pre-Kickstarter, but the amount of sort of systems that are in there, it's approaching a decent complexity that you would expect out of a nearly production-ready game, right? So having this kind of relative smoothness in moving over to a middleware, major revision of a sort of foundational middleware like the engine itself, right? It has been surprisingly smooth, and you know, at some point we were considering that we will probably gonna have to rewrite everything, refactor everything, right? We're just gonna, I will be thrown into the code mines and on pain of being flagellated, rewrite everything, right? There was something to consider at some point, but
it was
thankfully
scary.
thankfully for my back health, that didn't end up happening. So you know, it's played. Like for example, one of there are some small changes that I noticed right away. Like if you notice the theme of the checkboxes, of the select boxes, right? The boxes where you select the regions, the theme changed. Before it was like white, and the effect of that was at start you didn't see the actual text because the text was black and the background was black. So I had to change the text color to white so that you could actually see which region you selected, which is one of the like questionable, like why has been this change specifically, this default style of this particular UI element. So that's kind of neat, but that's obviously not another problem, right? I would imagine if you go now into the options and you look for something like the quality combo boxes, I imagine those change without me actually really, you know, I didn't touch that. Didn't touch anything aside from the thing.
Hey, Harry, people were saying that in the mix you were a little low, so I lowered the game volume on the mix, so hopefully people can hear you better now. But I thought this would be a good time. You talked about to talk about DLSS. You talked about how NVIDIA did the legwork and they made DLSS work with Unreal 5 already. And so I just want to show you DLSS is off right now, and I'm getting the same frame rate. I'm running 4K. I'm getting about the same frame rate I was before, which is about, I don't know, 70, 80 max, dips down to as low as 60. And I'm going to turn... Oh, thanks. Yeah. I'm going to turn on... I think we locked out console, so I can't do
no, console is not available in shipping builds at any point. Like Unreal Engine
so this is
removes all
people
the
are
tools.
asking if they can put a frame rate counter up. If you hit the tab key, that's the closest we have right now. But I'm going to turn DLSS on and see if there's a difference. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the options screen.
To be honest, I didn't check. I didn't. Oh, see those combo
it's just
boxes?
black text.
They're busted. Yeah, because there's this black text on black. I didn't actually forgot to check this.
This works. So I'm going to hit Ultra Performance. And I'm now activating NVIDIA's DLSS. And my frame rate is a little bit higher.
Not really?
Yeah. That's weird because actually when I did it earlier, I jumped up to 120 frames a second. So I'm not sure what's going on.
It was working.
It was working, yeah.
Interesting. So yeah, the menu is now a little bit unusable because, you know, this is, you know, this is what I talked about. They changed the default style of the checkbox, of the combo box, of the drop down box, and I'm not sure why. It's just such a weird change to make. Also, the sliders are slightly grayer. Before they were like pure white. Now they are like gray or dark gray. So overall, the UI effects are darker. I'm not sure why. If there's some post-process effect being applied to that. But yeah, DLSS. Insofar I didn't test it. I just downloaded the plugin from NVIDIA's side that was specifically like marked as Unreal Engine 5 release, and it compiled. So I didn't touch. I didn't really verify that. That's sort of.
So Harry, you were saying that blueprint nativization is going away, but we already have a lot of our code in C++, right? And so that means we'll have to do more of it in C++?
We don't have nearly enough code in C++. If I would put a percentage on it, I would say 10% of our code is in C++. Out of what should be in C++. So it's for on-tick code. So code that executes every single frame. All of that should be in C++.
Gotcha. So it's a little bit unfortunate that we lost nativization of blueprints because that was an easy way to get some performance out. But I'm interested to hear from the community that's in game right now in chat. I'm going to ask, how is your FPS compared to Unreal 4. Let's see what people say. So those of you, I can't watch Discord right now. I can only see what's in-game or on Twitch. So about the same. Because I know people are running on high-end hardware and low-end software. We have community members running on all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, to be clear, when we're talking about nativization, we're mainly looking at the CPU utilization improvement. On the client side, I think the hardest hit is the GPU at all times. We don't have that much stuff running on the client side that would necessarily impact your performance. The only way you would see an effect is when the server is entirely purely CPU, right? There's no graphics running on the server. So the only way you would see the effect of the server being bottlenecked is when you start getting rubber banding and stuttering and jittering and weird kinds of stuff. So that's the effect of nativization that was supposed to be sort of helped along, because nativization tries to take the scripting language, which is sort of runtime interpretation of instructions, let's say, and converts it into a C++ code that then compiles, right? Like as if it was normal code, as if a developer wrote it, right? And it's compiled down to machine instructions themselves. So it's the lowest level you can get without actually coding the machine instructions yourself. And the problem with the nativization thing is that the code that the code that the scripting language is translated into is nonsensical. It's like for example, the blueprint for the OmniFrame character, right, which is the largest one. It was like several, like 100,000 lines of code, right? It was nonsensical, unreadable C++ code that basically tried to use each of the shapes, each of the directives. So when you were doing something, when you're doing a function call or a mathematical operation, it was singularly executed in a loop. So how should I? So example, you have 5 plus 5. You store the result in some variable. By the way, every single result was its own variable. So I needed like 90 gigabytes of memory to actually compile it, because you had like 1,000 variables, and that does hell on the compiler memory usage. And then you basically returned to the beginning of the state machine, and you went in a loop like this. And the way you proceeded through the code, the way the code flow was simulated, is through a switch, through a giant switch statement. If people that do programming know what that is, it's just you have like several thousand. So what switch statement is like a very glorified if-else sort of statement. If something, then something else something, right? And switch statement is sort of hidden, more sophisticated, but not really. It just compiles down to the same thing. And that's what the code is ultimately translated from blueprints. Just several thousand if statements nested in one another. And it's nonsensical. Like the performance improvement is still there, simply because you have optimization in the compiler, like 30 years worth of C++ compiler optimization that goes into it, that sort of tries to, untangle that mess, but it's still a mess. So let's say you get some performance improvement, but you could still get more performance if you just wrote it yourself. And we're losing that. That's the probability point. The whole process, the whole nativization process was, it was very difficult, like doing this translator. It was just, they cut their losses, basically. They just, not doing this anymore.
All right, so people, I'm going to answer some questions that are popping up in chat here. I have been typing the answers while you've been talking, Harry. People are saying they like the mech design. We have more mechs coming. We have a light frame, which is more like an exosuit on your character. And we have a heavy, which is sort of like a Titanfall-sized mech. And let's see. Someone asked, will there be destruction? Yes, and that's an interesting point because you build bases in Em8er. The whole thing is you're terraforming this planet. You're in a war. You need to build forward bases. So imagine if you ever played PlanetSide or an MMO with cities, because the PlanetSide bases are like that size, that you are actually rezzing those buildings like an RTS. You and everybody else on the server are donating resources to get bases built for various benefits that it will give you and everybody else. And those bases are destructible. This is a game about giant kaiju. We don't have any kaiju yet, but they're massive, right? And they come romping through, and they will destroy your bases. But that's another key difference between Unreal 4 and Unreal 5, because we're running on Unreal 5 now, and one of the problems Nizul ran into, who is our technical game scripter, he was realizing that the knee biters, the little cubes that we have running around, these guys that are flashing red, they used to crumble. We used to shatter them when you shoot them. They're placeholder, obviously. And that didn't work anymore because it was using an old system of destructibility called, I think, Apex in Unreal 4, which is no longer supported because they're moving to a much better system, although it's more complicated and we couldn't get it to work in time for this demo, called Chaos. And Chaos is going to allow us to do some really interesting destruction work. There's actually a video that Epic has that actually ironically shows a mech, and it shows a city being destroyed using Chaos. And so that's the system in Unreal 5, and so that's the one we have to switch over to. So let's see what other questions are. Go. I'm just going to take questions, Harry, and then when we run low on questions, we can go back and talk more about this stuff. But hang on to that thought about Chaos. Are you guys going to try an organic frame route? Can't wait to back this. Not going to lie, the little animations on the mechas, like the landing and sliding, look so good. Yeah, just wait till you see the light frame. We're going to have a little bit of Vanquish in there. If you ever played a game called Vanquish, and the mobility that you see there, we'd like to get a little more mobility into the light frame. Will we have organic mechs? I don't know yet. Our current workflow with Unreal 5 that saves us a bunch of time is hard surface, not soft mechs. So I don't know if we'll have skinned mechs because you can't have Nanite in Unreal 5 for anything skeletal, anything that like deforms any sort of soft body. So that might limit us in terms of organic mech design. But we do plan to have a bunch of mech skins that you can try. You want to join? Filzers asks, can I join a civilian faction that promotes the conservation of kaiju from the Catgirl menace? Wow. Someone who doesn't like catgirls. Yeet. I don't know. No, unfortunately, you cannot join the kaiju. It is you versus them, and they are AI controlled. And yes, Mr. Mealy says, do you really want to go against catgirls? That could be messy. You can mix static and skin. Yes, that is possible. You can. We haven't tested it yet, but from what we tried so far, I don't see that as an issue. Will there be mech suit content, like going inside buildings or ejecting? Out of mech suit content. Well, there is home. So up there is your space station where you arrived on because you're colonizing this planet. There's a massive space station that's up in orbit, and you will be out of mech there. If you're in a vehicle, like these dropships are going to have interiors, just like the truck, the space truck concepts I was showing you guys. Those will have interiors. You will be out of mech there too. Will there be content where you go in as a human and fight stuff? Probably not at this point, but you can be in a light frame, which is much more human sized. I'll give you an idea of the scale. We just put down a placeholder human here. This is our old character, obviously, not the one that we showed you on the Unreal 5 demo. And you can see the size difference. The light frame is much more human-sized, and the heavy frame is more Titanfall-sized. So someone's asking, longtime Firefaller, are we going to get a frame that has multiple frames, specific weapons, or something that can dual-wield as an ability? I really miss my arsenal from Firefall. Well, the way the frames work is you spec them out. So basically, there is a common pool of abilities and weapons that can be used by all frames, and then there are specific pools that you can craft for the light, medium, and heavy. And if you want to recreate your favorite frame from Firefall, you're going to find that we have a version of all the abilities and weapons from Firefall in here, plus a lot more. So the idea is that you can mix and match, you define your loadout. There are no classes. There are light, medium, and heavy frames, but what you choose is going to determine your role. And you can have multiple frames too. So you can collect multiple frames, and you can have different loadouts for different occasions too. And one of the perks is you actually get to name the loadout. If you're the first person to come up with that combination of abilities and weapons on your frame, you get to actually name that combo. So when someone else goes to create it, they'll see the name that you've picked for that particular combination. And obviously there's zillions of possibilities. So, there's a lot of namespace there to explore. Dual wielding is planned for the light frame. The light frame can dual wield melee weapons. The medium frame can dual wield projectile weapons. Now, for those of you who play Star Citizen or old games like X-Wing, you know that the mechs are going to feel like vehicles because they're going to have sort of a power triangle. And this is something I'd like to get the community's input on. The power triangle is basically, allocating power to your offensive weapons, your movement, or your defensive abilities. And the idea was that you can sort of like set that up, hit hotkeys, and configure them so you can divert more power to weapons or more power to shields. You can recharge things like your plasma cannon more. For those of you following Star Citizen 314 patch, they have capacitance, and that controls how fast your plasma cannon will recharge, etc. There is that, but I was thinking more and more that maybe that's not mech appropriate. Maybe that's great for like a spaceship, or where we all got the idea from was X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, an old game and set in the Star Wars universe. Rogue Squadron has this right now, if you want to talk modern space sims. But for mechs, usually the go-to has been heat management, right? So if you played Mech Warrior or even Anthem, Anthem didn't really go heavy into it, but we could go with something like heat management instead. And like the more damage you take could affect heat. The biomes can affect it. There's different biomes in the game, so the winter areas can give you an edge on heat. You could put more thermal sinks on your mech if you want to dissipate heat quicker. That might be more interesting and simpler at the same time. And I'm kind of inspired by Valheim on this. In Valheim, all the game systems tie back to stamina, right? Everything you do ties back to stamina. We could tie it back to heat, which is very mech appropriate theme wise, and we could really riff off that as a theme. So you guys tell me, leave your feedback. I'm watching chat too. This is overthrust. Little speed boost ability, pop glider wings. And we're gliding, we're not flying, by the way. Just FYI. If I go up, I'll stall. Oh, we got a lot of... Oh, we got 26 players in here. This encounter is only balanced for 4 players. It's just a demo. It's not the full...
I think the table is busted. Show the score table one more time.
What was that, Harry?
The score table seems to be busted. It doesn't sort by online and shows most people as offline.
Oh, you're right.
Or am I just seeing your face there?
I don't think it's sorting. No, there's not... kill deaths are not being recorded, but those are player kills. Tihu kills are being recorded.
Yeah, but it shows everyone as offline. Interesting. So there's something, busted in there. Although the score table is, it's all sort of temporary. It's just...
that was just... That was just something we put up there. So yeah, heat management. I'm hearing in chat that maybe thrust fuel management. There is thrust and fuel right now. But yeah, I'm thinking about, instead of a power triangle system, that we do something related to heat management and maybe power management. And that's kind of like Valheim, right? Valheim has stamina and food, but food ties into stamina as well. What were you going to say, Harry?
These two do some weird animations, like some Looney Tunes stuff. Did you see that? He was like running around flailing his arms. Yeah.
Yeah, they do weird stuff.
Is that new or?
Well, they're being stunned. So when you're shooting them, and they take a certain amount of damage, they get into a stun state. Whoa. Okay. We got a mining mech here. And you're seeing a weird interplay between stuns and shooting and everything else. But that's why you've been working on the new Tsihu animation graph. And we actually have new Tsihu models and stuff that we're working on. These are placeholder now. Because I didn't quite like the animation system we were using for NPCs. The Thumper's using them and the Tsihu's using them right now. I think we could do a better job, and Harry's already got that going. But I think so far, let me know in chat, has anyone been has anyone not been able to run the build? Because this is the first time we've switched over to Unreal 5.
Oh yeah, I was wondering, is anyone actually not being able to launch the game that was able to launch it before?
Yeah,
are there compatibility issues?
Let us know in chat. We could do something like skiing maybe on a light frame. I don't know yet. Skiing gets tremendous velocity. For those of you who don't know, a game called Tribes became famous because you could sort of like get into a movement mode where you're skating across the terrain really, really fast. And I know people want it back. That's a tricky one to do. I'm not skiing here. I'm falling with style. Okay, we got way too much camera shake on the high velocity gliding. What's the problem with it? Well, I don't know. One was speed, right? I used to be concerned about the amount of speed that you'd pick up with things like skiing or the glider. And then we went to this massive terrain, right? This is an 8 kilometer by 8 kilometer test map. And it's just thrown together. No textures, no nothing. It's real basic. You will arc liege if we go skiing? Now, do you want classic Tribes skiing or Tribes Ascend skiing? Razvania, thank you. It actually kind of feels like Firefall. Well, that's what we're going for. We don't want to be exactly like Firefall, but we want to be kind of like Firefall. Spiritual successor. Proper skiing. Yeah, skiing would be pretty cool. I want to give a different sort of unique movement mode to each of the frames. The heavy's going to have shield surfing. So the heavies have shields, and if they hop on their shield, it's like Eureka 7, if you watch that anime. And I know so many people are asking about skiing. It's almost like you should give the community what it wants, within as long as it thematically fits the game. But I was saying that now that the terrain is super big, movement speed seems to be less of an issue. Because before, when we had the tiny map of New Copa, you could cross the terrain in a ridiculously fast pace. Oh, we have base markers now. I think Ben got those in, and we actually... So that's new. For those of you who are getting lost, we actually have base markers now. You can see on the compass here. Shield surfing should be an agile light frame thing, and heavy Titanfall should have heavy gear style roller skates. So you want to flip it? Darshix, you want... So that the light frame has the option to have a shield surfing ability, and that the heavy does the skating thing like you'd expect from a mecha game?
Oh, this terrain is cursed.
The terrain is what? Yeah, it is. We've got this fractal noise here that's really making it hard to walk up slopes. This is what happens when you just randomly generate stuff and you don't really design it for playability. We're going to have a blend. So the next test here that I want to do for Unreal, assuming that is running on everybody's Okay, so some people are getting 130 frames. Mi5 3RE says they're on low and they're stuck at less than 30 frames per second. What were you getting before, and what card do you have?
Can you try changing the quality setting?
He did. He said he set it to low. You know, the quality settings may not be working.
We'll try it. I know a lot. Some people had issues with it, like they act funky, but I think that's down to.
Okay, so well, let's take a reference here. So I'm running at now I'm getting 130, Harry, when I don't have players on. Well,
Yes.
that makes a difference. Okay, but is DLSS on? Let me turn DLSS off. Okay, so we're going to turn this off. And we're about 100 FPS. Hard to tell. I have no idea what that is. The numbers are kind of all over the place.
Yeah, I need to. I said it several times. I need to average this out, but I always forgot about it.
Yep. Let's do that, and then. Okay, so he's running on a GTX 880M, 8 gigabytes.
That's a mobile, like 7-year-old part.
Yeah, I'll tell you what NVIDIA is suggesting to us. If we were to launch 2 years after Kickstarter, they're recommending that the market. They say that the market will support a 1060 as the minimum card. So this is your chance. If that's like, whoa, no, dude, tell us now, because that's what they're recommending we do. Is saying that a 1060 would be the minimum. Like 2-3 years from now. How many of you on a 1050 Ti or an 880M are planning to upgrade in the next 2 years?
Well, the 880M is a very niche product because if I remember it, 880, the 8 series was simply, it was never a desktop part, all right? It was the Maxwell core, I think. So what would eventually become the 9 series, like 980, 970s. But they did them before, after Kepler. And there was some odd mix-up, right? They basically skipped the thing. But that was like 2012 or something like that. Like there is a limit to how much we can support, to be honest. I mean, we were gonna try, but
all right. So, but you're getting 30, which is not bad.
Something, yeah.
Times have changed. When we were doing WoW, it was like as long as we can get now. Obviously, WoW's not an action game, right? But we were saying if we can get 20 FPS, we're happy. And of course, now I think 60 is the expectation.
Although when we try implementing the AMD's upscaling, what do they call it? Super effects.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. That might help also because that's going to work. That's not GPU bound at all, not generationally or.
That is true.
Although I haven't necessarily. I think it's all GPUs. Like for example, maybe a specific shader model that is restricted to, but that like for example, you wouldn't be able to run a 20-year-old GPU on it. Let's say, but that's to go to the limits of that extreme, right? Like if you were to pick a 8800. From 2004, would that run it? I'm not sure. Maybe even they have some sort of like this card is way too old. Like it doesn't support the shader model. It physically doesn't have the instructions to run this. But it's supposed to be hardware agnostic, so you will likely be able to run it even with something like 2012 GPU.
All right. So I was talking about what we might attempt on the next Unreal build. I think if it's first of all, we want to get your feedback. Any changes in frame rate, and you can download both versions of this build are up and running. There's an Unreal 4 version and an Unreal 5 version. Do me a favor, download both, try both, see what your frame rate difference is, see if there's any other issues. If you can't run it at all, definitely let us know. The moderators will post a forum thread where you can give us feedback on this Unreal 5 build, and we're going to look at that. and we're going to address any issues there, hopefully. And assuming that it looks pretty promising and we can go forward with Unreal 5, then the next test is getting nanite meshes in here. I don't want to go full-on lumen lighting yet because as I've told you before, lumen is pretty slow, and if we did something like that, I'd want there to be an option to turn it on and off yet, which I don't know if there is. But what I want to do is take this map and a couple things. One is we're going to switch this to world compositing. So right now this is one big map, but it really should be divided up into sectors and streamed in. And we didn't want to do that with Unreal 4 because Unreal 5 is a completely different way of doing it. So that's one thing we're going to do. And the other thing is we're going to get some nanite meshes in here. Some mega scans of maybe even pulling them from, the same Valley of the Ancients demo. And we'll take part of this map and we will plop down some uber zillion polygon cliffs and terrain and things like that. And we'll just stick them in here. It won't be pretty, but there'll be a place that you can fly to in the build with Unreal 5 nanite meshes. And then we'll see what people's performance is there. Does that sound pretty good for you guys? Something you guys would be willing to test out? Okay, so it'll still be white box. Like you'll still see, it's like, oh, it's just all test terrain. And then in one corner of the map is just going to be just a buttload of nanite meshes. And we'll see how that runs for people. I think that's a good next step. Maybe even for next week. I think I'd like to try that. Maybe I don't know if we'll do world compositing for next week, but we'll at least get the meshes in. You can stream this. Yeah, you're welcome to take screenshots. Just let people know these are test graphics. We deliberately tried to make things look very testy so that nobody mistakes them for final graphics. So please put the disclaimer out there, that's what they're looking at. All right, so go ahead, Harry.
Yeah, the quintessential sort of learned language texture is the not Unreal Engine, Valve's sort of pink black texture. Like just about everybody knows when he's looking at it, that's either a glitch or some sort of placeholder, because that's what Valve used since like Half-Life for placeholder textures. This sort of checkered pink black thing. So, but we couldn't make it at the terrain because it would gouge your eyes out. So,
yeah, it would. It'd be pretty painful. Oh, so Z1MTON1X, I don't know how to pronounce your name, says, I'm too depressed for testing. Been asking for an hour to see the back of the cat girl and how the tail is attached. Okay, well, let's not depress you. Let's go back to Unreal and we'll show you. So I'm going to go ahead and see what I can do here. Get the cat girl. I'm going to launch Unreal 5 at the same time that this is running. This is going to be hilariously slow. Let's see. Cat girl, cat girl, cat girl. Where are you, cat girl? All right, I'm loading up the project now. Just for you. I'm sorry you've been waiting. I didn't see your question. But yeah, in like 2 years' time, are you planning to upgrade, and will you upgrade to a 1060 or higher? And I think the likelihood is probably yes. Here's what I think is going to happen with GPUs. Assuming there's not like massive trouble with China or anything like that, I think what you're going to see is availability come back, and it's already back. You can buy the cards now. They're just priced way over MSRP, right? I think prices will stabilize at about 30% higher than MSRP. That's just a wild guess on my part. And I think you're going to see that happen in the next 12 months, maybe sooner, actually. And that is probably your time to score a card. And instead of going and getting out a 1060, you guys are going to go straight to 3000 series cards, 6000 series cards, AMDs. That's my prediction. Assuming that nothing happens in the geopolitical world space to upset that. There's no new pandemic. There's no war. That type of thing. I can't believe we're actually talking about this stuff. What times do we live in? It's like, well, just in case there's, we're legitimately saying, just in case there's not another pandemic, and just in case there's no war, and it's crazy.
I mean, these things always affected the prices. Like, remember when the factory, WD's factory for hard drives was flooded, right? And suddenly hard drives like the prices shot up. Like, these things happen.
Yeah, but I mean, we live in a time where those are
Yes, Taiwan has a lot of like really really giant.
we're cheating on the textures. These are 4K textures. They won't be 4K in game, but this is running with the full Unreal 5 lighting model, and this is real time. Our characters are kind of like half stylized. People are asking, are you going to have alpha card hair? No, the idea is to have hair like this. We're kind of like halfway in between. And this is running in real time, so I will show you guys that. I showed this at the beginning of the stream, but a lot of you guys haven't seen it yet. And this skin is for sale right now. You normally can't get it. This is a very rare skin. It's only, I haven't assigned the rarity yet. I just realized I didn't tell. And this is a once a year skin, so it's at the highest level of rarity. And the model you're seeing here is the same model that's in the engine itself. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that. Let's switch over. All right, so this is Unreal 5, the editor, and what you've been seeing in the demo that you can download today in Unreal 5 is obviously placeholder graphics. If you want to know what the actual graphics are going to look like, it's more along these lines. Texture-wise, there'll be lower resolution textures. In photo mode, we'd like to bump them up if we can. This is obviously 4K texture is kind of like ridiculous how detailed it is. But you don't need that type of detail for the skin or anything. So you want to see the tail. I will give you a caveat. I posed this character to match the CSR concept. In order to get this tail angle, I had to swivel the tail base. So I'm cheating a little bit. But the tail actually dovetails into the suit here. I don't know if you can see that. It's clipping through the hair right there. But that's where it is. The tail attaches up on the spine. It's an extension of the spine here. And it's very rotated right now. Normally the base tail would not rotate this far. So, hope that answers your question. You've been waiting an hour for it. I can't imagine if you're excited or disappointed. I hope you're not disappointed. That's a long time to wait for the answer. And of course, the zillion polygon cat clip as well. So this skin is available in the store. It's making a comeback. It's only available once a year. If you want to grab it, this is the time. And then I will say that for the monthly patrons, there will be something related to this skin next month. You're getting a skin on the 20th, that's tomorrow, that I'll be sending an email out about. And then you're getting something related to this skin the month after that. How is the chest attached? Can you zoom in on that? Maybe Harry, I should try to do a build of this so that people can actually download it and check it out. So, which part of the chest did you want to? Hey, is that a trick question? Just to zoom in on her boobs? How is the chest attached? With fabric. Do you guys have a Patreon link? We actually have our own monthly system. So if you go to my.ember.com, and the mods will post a link in there, you can become a monthly patron and get access to test builds that are one version older than regular backers, and access to the chapter lore, all that stuff. So those of you who want the details, I see what you're doing. Okay, weebs, here you go. Get it out of your system. There is the boob shot. Yes, there will be a boob slider. Okay, I know you want this close up too. So here, I'll do the pan. There, you happy?
So technically, this game is not rated. Not sure what that implies.
Well, you know, Harry.
Because,
oh, go ahead.
yeah, a lot of the games, when you're like not rated, you're not allowed to be sold in stuff like Target and stuff like that. That was the issue with stuff like in Australia. There was a game. Oh, it's specifically Australia. There was a game that was rated like AO, controversially, and AO games are not allowed to be sold. Right? It's adult only game. It's beyond this sort of R-rated thing. Like AO is like the highest. It's like death sentence. Like you lobby stuff to not get that because you're not allowed to be sold in various places. Twitch specifically does not allow you to stream AO games. Not sure what unrated games. What's the stance on that though? Because
nothing we're showing here is that risque. I'm playing Final Fantasy, and I'll be streaming that on Tuesdays. And there's outright bikinis in Final Fantasy, and nothing we're showing here is all that revealing. Now you notice that this model is a little difficult to pose. So I posed it. You'll notice that it wreaks a little havoc on the rigging. So you see things like the thigh interpenetrating here. That's unavoidable. I mean, it is a game. Obviously, it's not a movie, and you have to live with some of that stuff. But this is a pretty extreme pose. To get her body in this pose was to match the CSR artwork was not easy. All right, so I asked you last week how well we did matching the cinematic quality render out of Marmoset, and how well we captured sort of like the spirit of CSR, right? Now, I know a lot of you didn't like the other head that we had. We had another head where the lips were closed, and you guys didn't like her expression. So this is actually going back to our original head where the lips are slightly parted, and you guys tend to like that a lot more. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you a direct comparison now. So this is the concept art and the Marmoset render, which is the ray traced thing. This took a while to render. It wasn't real time. And then compare it to the real time Unreal 5 result, which is here. We did change the lighting a little bit, but you tell me how we did. I think this guy's amazing, heaven. Pretty much nailed it. There is no cat. This is a scam. Can we get the cat as an in-game pet? I think UE5 is better than Marmoset. I just subscribed as a patron. How can I find out if I unlock skins? Under your account, it'll show you the skin for the current month that you've unlocked and all the following months. But you don't get the skins for the prior months. But we can fix that today, maybe. We can now do a raffle for a catch-up pack, which is every skin that was released for the game prior to this month's skin. So to participate in that, you have to go over to our Discord channel, and the moderators will post the link in Twitch chat, and join us on our Discord server. And we have a raffle system there, and right now we are going to raffle away 3 catch-up packs. This is a lot of work for Ronan. There's a lot of skins. I apologize, Ronan, but it is the theme of the stream, the skins here. So Can we go ahead and do that? Make that happen?
All right, we're gonna do some ketchup packs. Hey there, Miss M. How you doing? Right, folks, are you ready for this? I see some ketchup. Where's the tomatoes? That would be wonderful. You know, the trickiest part is not simply adding them, because if somebody has no skins, adding them is easy. It's when they have certain months but not other months, and you're like trying to figure out, okay, which month was that? You know, that's the tricky part. Okay, guys, for those who can everybody hear me on both Twitch and Discord? Yes, yes, yes. Okay. There's never enough tomatoes for all this ketchup. Awesome, awesome. Okay, we're gonna wait. We're trying to wait just a couple minutes to make sure all the people who are gonna be transitioning from Twitch over here to the Discord, because it always happens. There's always a few.
It's like changing terminals. You got to run from terminal A to terminal B.
Exactly. Man, she is looking amazing in engine.
I think I want to package this and make it available for download.
I think that's a great idea.
And people can just loop it if they want.
Mm,
And then we can have gravure mode. Is that how you pronounce it? Where you control the camera?
yes.
How is it pronounced? Do you know?
No idea.
Gravure, gravure. I don't know. It's that mode in Dead or Alive, beach volleyball.
Right.
The Japanese games all have them. And then obviously we have to add head pats at some point. Mist is asking, can we have a 3D print of this model? I don't think it would 3D print very well. But, and we'd have to resculpt maybe the thigh joint, because this is a game model, so you're getting thigh deformation that shouldn't be there in a sculpt. But if you guys want a sculpt of this, that's something we could, we are talking to, I am talking to a company that does this stuff, right? And the idea is that maybe we'll do a collab on Kickstarter. So if you guys want a figurine of this, that's something we can talk about.
All right. Has everybody gotten over here from Twitch?
Gravier, they say it's pronounced. Sounds very French. Gravere. Someone has an alternate pronunciation. All right. Do we have everybody in Discord for the Ketchup Pack raffle, where you can get this skin and every skin up until this month?
Okay. So for those who don't know, this is a raffle, and I'm going to show you how it works. Now, he's already explained what you win, so let's talk about how you jump in. All right. So what's going to happen? You're going to see a sentence from Faye, our community coordinator. Underneath that, you're going to see a sentence from Emberbot, our digital lady of helpness, you might say. And underneath that, you see a little emoji. It's an emoji of a notepad with a pencil on it. You're going to click on that, and it will put you in the running for the raffle. Now, only click it once, because if you click it twice, it will take you out of the running. Don't do that. When you're in, when it's active, it will be blue. That will let you know that you're in. Now, you might see about 100 other emojis that people post. Ignore those. It's just people goofing off. And please, when a raffle is running, do not post anything. Give everybody a chance to see it. We don't want it to be scrolled away and lost in the ether. Now, to make sure everybody gets it, we're going to do a test raffle. That is a test raffle. Yes, a test raffle is when we test it out. You don't win a prize for it, but we will test it to make sure it works. Shadow has the right one. Carnage, you have the wrong one. There's no pencil. All right, Faye, when you're ready, go ahead and do that test raffle. And actually, I lied. There is a prize for the test raffle. What you win is Faye's thanks. So, Faye, take it away.
Alrighty, is everybody ready? Get your mouse clicks ready. On your marks, get set, click.
Excellent.
Hi,
And,
you.
and remember, do not post while this is up.
Oh, come on, there has to be more than 69 people in here.
The winner is
Hey, Livy! Congratulations.
Okay, in about 10 seconds, we're going to start on the actual raffles. So everybody grab that 4-leaf clover, grab your rabbit and rub its feet. Whatever it is that you do, prepare for the good luck.
Should we show them the skins?
Absolutely.
You guys want to see the skins? Are you sure? I can't see you. Are you sure? All right, I'm going to post the skins with the first raffle. Are we ready? On your mark. Get set. Click.
Please open that image up. It is amazing how many skins there are. For cool guns, for waifus, for bandos, for mechs, for the Renga mount. Can we pet the Renga, Crumbs?
What's that? Can you
Can
pet
we
it?
pet the Renga? Yes.
Absolutely, because I want that Twitter channel to retweet us. You know, can you pet the dog?
Yes.
Dude, that's marketing gold.
Hey, Zingo, congratulations. Feeling better now?
I gotta say, the lighting in Unreal 5 is amazing. It's like ray tracing without having to have an RTX card.
Absolutely. If you want to gift it, just let me know who you want it to go to, and I will make sure that it goes to them. All right, Faye, in about 10 seconds, go for the next one.
Alrighty. Well, cross your fingers, Caden. All right, get your mouse clicks ready. Set. Click.
I'm just trying to demonstrate that it is real time by moving her around and stuff.
The capture goofed.
Oh, I see
I'm
that.
seeing undo move elements.
Oh my goodness, Livy, congratulations. That's 2 today.
And let that be a lesson that you can win Faye's thanks and still win the real raffle, okay? So I know people have thought that they used up their luck. It doesn't work like that. Luck is like love. The more you give, the more you get.
What?
Ah, Dabudo, that's cute. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I think I got tricked, Ronan. When people asked how the tail was attached, I thought they wanted to look at the tail. I think they wanted this view.
I mean,
I think I got completely trolled. And I think when people said how is the how is the chest piece detached. They made me zoom into that, and I just completely played into their hands.
By the way, this is not animated at all, right? This is just a static map.
Yeah, this
We
is
have-
static mesh. We're
Sorry.
We have this rig though, so the rig is coming back. We swapped the head out because people didn't like the expression of the old head, so we put the of the prior head. So we put the other face back in that got more likes.
I just want to say, as the warden of Horny Jail, it is important that I point out we have the most wholesome community.
I just completely fell for it. It just dawned on me now that I was like, how is the tail connected? Like, you care about
really?
the tail. Yeah, it really. I'm so innocent. I totally fell for it. And I'm sitting here, and you have me explaining how I had to like turn tail into an unrealistic angle, and you didn't care about that. You just wanted to see the rear shot. And I totally didn't understand. I totally just was like oblivious. You guys got me. Can we see the ankles?
Right.
What are you, Victorian era fetish? Is this
The third raffle. Jeez.
There you go. Okay, weebs. Jeez, I can't believe I fell for that. I'm such an idiot. Yeah, this is 4K textures. Who made this? We made this. Team Em8er.
Okay, Faye, go ahead. Third raffle. Unleash.
Alrighty.
Yeah, even the straps are textured.
On your marks. Get set. Click.
This is your last chance of the day, folks. Get them skins.
For those of you who want to know what chroma can affect, if you have a chroma-enabled skin, these glows can change. Zoom in on the lips. Okay.
Munch. All right, munch. Now, for those who won, if you don't already know, here's what you do. You're going to send me a private message right away. You're going to say, hey, Ronan, I want a ketchup pack. And you're going to give me your Em8er ID that you use on myem8er.com. All right, Grumps, that's all three. Back to you.
People are asking if they can color change. So there are 3 grades of skin. When you get a skin drop in the game, you get what's called a core. Core grade means that the color is what you get. So this would be, if you can't change any of the colors or anything, that is, I'll put up Grum's made. If you can't change the colors, that's just the basic core grade skin. Then above that, there is the, oh gosh, I forgot what we call it. Help me out. We have core, something, and then we have peerless. High. I think we have high grade? No, something like that. Epic grade? Might be epic grade. And whatever the next, artisan. Thank you. Artisan grade. So artisan grade lets you change the colors. So you can change the colors, and there's a little more detail on the mesh. And then peerless, which is the one that's in the store right now. If you wanted to get this Neko skin and have it in the game, and this will be in the home space station demo that we are diligently working on, then you can not only change the colors, you can change the materials. So if you wanted to change this to like a reflective fabric, maybe you put a gold armband on. If you wanted to, have tail options, so there's maybe, we plan on having some tail variations here so that you can have a different style of tail. If you want to swap out the ears to something different, the Peerless grade has mesh options, and it has color and material options. And that is what is on sale right now in the online store for Em8er. And this skin will be in the game shortly. Now, I want to point out this is the cinematic quality texture set. These are 4K textures. Do not expect 4K textures when you're just running around the world and you're, this size, right? You're going to be so 4K would be overkill. Your poor graphics card would die with multiple people on screen. But we do plan for this in hopefully character creation mode as well as some sort of photo mode. We'd like to be able to let you toggle on these super high res textures. And you'll be able to see these characters in, I keep saying soon, it's been so long, but we learned a lot about how to do this and how not to do it. And I feel like I can finally say soon. 45 minutes for those old timers here who know that joke. All right, follow-up question. Monkey Moniker asks, this is a pilot, but the pilots only show up in the base. Some are pretty new in Denver. Yeah, they show up in the base. They show up in vehicles, like we talked about. When you're in a dropship, you're piloting a dropship, or if you're piloting one of the space trucks, then you will be in your pilot form. If you are wearing a light frame, you will see your costume too, because the light frame is like it's armor that fits on your arms, your legs, that type of thing. It overlays this stuff. So you will see this, and the light frame is much more like the Firefall frames, right? That's what they're supposed to be like. We're a spiritual successor to Firefall, and so that's what you're going to see. Let's see. What other questions here? Husbandos are coming. Texturing the husbando has been interesting. We tried a super realistic texture. We tried something in between. We ultimately settled for this soft style here. But for a husbando, I think we need soft and rugged styles. And right now we have a very Korean style, I would say more feminine husbando face, like something you'd expect out of, a Korean comic or Korean game. And he does have a bulge. We are not forgetting that there are husbando fans out there. Does she have some kind of cybernetic? No, this is just her eye shader. We're working on the eye shader, and you notice that she doesn't have a pupil really. But I think the general shader is looking pretty cool because you get this halo effect. But we're still working on the final eye shader. We just got her into the game.
Will we have cutscenes? Is the question.
Will we have cutscenes? No, but when you interact with a vendor or something like that, obviously I'd like to pan the camera around, so it kind of looks like you're having a little cutscene interaction, but it's not really a cutscene.
I mean, World of Warcraft, the only cutscene that was the introductory cutscene. I mean, at the beginning, right? There was nothing else that can be described as a cutscene in the original World of Warcraft, apart from the one you have at the very beginning when you create a character. And I don't know if it's just the camera panning through the world. I mean, it's not particularly like complex cutscene. You see the players, so it's not even like some kind of scripted thing. It's just the camera flying through the world.
Exactly. But I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy 14, and what they do is they have cutscenes, but they are done completely. Well, they have dedicated cutscenes where they do special animations, but it's not like pre-render. It's all real time. But what they do a lot of, which I like, is that when you talk to your guild master, or it's not a guild master, I forget what they call it, or if you have some storyline interactions, you can actually see them play their emotes, and they have a ton of emotes made for these characters. So they use the emote library to make a little sort of game scene out of it. And I think that's a very economical and smart way to do a little more flavorful story-like interaction. So I'd like to see that. I'd like to see us do a library of emotes that we can draw upon as sort of standard animations to do sort of like a in-game cutscene. Like it's like a machinima. Yeah, it's like a little machinima system that they do. I thought it was really smart.
I mean, technically, World of Warcraft did that. I mean, when you had quests, I don't know, like Minecraft's Vive, I think. When you were reading when you were accepting the quest, right? The NPC like started crying, like played the cry emote at some time.
Yeah, we did do a
So
little bit of
World of
that.
Warcraft kind of did that. Yeah.
But Final Fantasy takes it to like a whole nother level. All right, everybody. I hope this has been an entertaining stream. We are coming up on the 2-hour mark, which is where I'd like to keep these. We are running in Unreal 5. That's the big news. This skin is available. This is running in engine now. You can expect to see it in the home demo. This is available in store. It's a once-a-year skin. So this is your chance to snag it. Won't see it again for a year. And I'm going to post a little video of this, and then I think if we can, maybe for next week, we can drop a project build of this so you can see the sequences. Oh, Ronan. I thought Toshi was going to say that. I'm really disappointed that Toshi didn't come up with that first. And I have to stop saying and. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the stream. We're running on Unreal 5. You're going to expect to see us play with some Unreal 5 features next week. I want to just real simple, right? Same build. We're just going to shove in a bunch of Nanite meshes for the landscape, which is what they did for the Valley of the Ancients demo. We might even use the same meshes from the Quixel Megascan library, and we'll just throw them in there and see what the performance is like. We won't turn on Lumen. Right now, we're not using global illumination. We're not using lumen reflections. So we're going to give that a shot, and you guys will be able to see it. And there'll be a section of the map that you can go to with Nanite meshes. It shouldn't be a 30 gigabyte download. Actually, the meshes compress really well, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm very curious too. Thank you very much. It's been a long time to evaluate Unreal 5 and to figure out how to do this if we were going to do it. And it's looking pretty promising. Everyone was able to run the build, right? I haven't heard anyone say that they can't just get it to run. Even people on 880Ms are running this. Okay, so that's very good. That's a good sign, because this is not a production-ready engine. This engine is still in preview. So it was important to us that our backers be able to run the builds if we're going to switch over completely to Unreal 5. If that's the case, we're going to continue to develop on the Unreal 5 branch of the engine. And we're also going to experiment with Lumen. We're going to experiment with Nanite, and you guys will get to experience those along with it. Is there a reason why Shop only has gift option on items? Raven Oak, I'm not sure about that. Amelia, do you know what he's talking about? There are items that are expired that are no longer available. Oh, you got to be logged in. Okay. There you go. If you're seeing gift options only on items, make sure that you are logged into the system, and then you'll be able to do it. For those of you,
how much?
Oh, go ahead.
How much for the skin is a burning question. How long will the skin be up?
The skins are available only on limited times, right? So we rotate through, and then the skins get vaulted for a year. This skin is available till next Friday, midnight, and usually there's a little bit of slop. Usually, because I don't want to wait and stay up all the way till 1 a.m. at midnight and turn the skin off. I usually turn it off Saturday. I actually let the other one go for a couple of days more. But yeah, the idea is that these rotate through. This one's only available once a year. So if you want to grab the Neko skin, now is the time. If you've already been a monthly patron and already have the skin, you lucked out because you got the Peerless Grade skin for just $7.95. If you guys would like to get those Peerless Grade skins for $7.95 in the future, please subscribe. We're at 1,292 subscribers. If we hit 1,500, we make the heavy frame playable in the game. And I'd like to get a heavy mech in there. I'd like to get a Titanfall-sized mech into the demo. So please help us with that. And you can get these skins at very economical prices, much cheaper than an Apex Legends skins or anything like that with the monthly patron. If you do opt for the store and grab the Neko skin, you are getting a great deal because we offer customization features above and beyond what you get with skins of other games. You get mesh options for things like ear swaps, tail swaps, things like this. You get material swaps, not just textures, colors changes, that type of thing. Yes, Ari, the rarities are not assigned properly yet. I'm going to go ahead and assign those. Any skin on the monthly patron program is rare or above by default. So I will get with Amelia. Let me get with you today and let's go through and assign skin rarities today. Like, I know that your time zone is good. So if usually I get a little bit of lunch after this, and then, in an hour, I can get with you on Discord and we'll assign the skin rarities. But for now, can you just change the Neko skin? It should be the once a year one. The system's a little complicated. I actually forget which name we use for the once a year skin. I think it's legendary. Yeah, legendary. Thank you, Leandri. So this is a legendary skin. Once a year, and this is available till next Friday. Ray Forth asks, will the meshes you can swap come with the skin by default, or will we have to purchase and unlock those as time goes by? No, the way it works, Ray, is you get, if there are, this is a peerless grade skin, if there are mesh options, you can change those immediately. And if you get this skin in game, because you can get them in game, they drop. They're rare, so you can farm them once a year because it's rarity, legendary rarity. When you farm them, you only get the core grade skin, which is single color, no mesh options. But you can grind to craft the upgrades for it, which will let you get to an artisan skin, which lets you change colors, and then you all the way up to a peerless, which lets you change mesh. That's the way we designed the monetization system, so that you can get these in game, but you have to unlock their grades to sort of enhance their customization. Habanera trying to sneak the tail question in one more time. I'm on to you now. Go ahead. Fine. Here you go. This is how the tail is affixed. Yes. For all the Twitch moderators out there, we are looking at the tail joint of this. It's a very technical thing. How the tail joins the back of the model. I need a hot tub. Yeah, we'll get banned if we don't stick her in a hot tub. So I guess that's the next thing on our modeling list, Toshi. Toshi, can you whip up a hot tub for us, please? And we're at the tail end of the stream. Ronan, you need to say that on voice. These are gold. Toshi says no. It's hard enough to get Toshi to do boobs. He's all flat as justice, and I'm all thick lives. Thick thighs save lives. Yeah, and then we need a hot tub for the Abby too. So maybe I'll do that. Just something I can turn on and off. I think that'd be pretty funny. If we could toggle a hot tub around me. It could be like one of those things where it's like the hot tub is really just like on suspenders, and so the avatar is just wearing suspenders and it's a hot tub around their waist. I think that'd be pretty funny. Like wearing a barrel. A kiddie pool, or a kiddie wading pool, yeah. And man, I cannot believe you guys trolled me so hard with the tail and even the chest piece. I was so innocent. Twitch has corrupted me. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the end of the stream, unfortunately. Join us next week where we try to tank our frame rate by sticking in nanite meshes into our brand new Unreal 5 version of Em8er. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you, community, for your awesome support. This has been a great stream. Thank you, Harry, for all that hard work getting this to port over. I know it was something that was dreadful to contemplate having to, but you did a brilliant job with a very smooth transition. It seems like it's running for everybody. Thanks, Nizul, for fixing the knee biters so that they're responding correctly. We still have some bugs in the build. We'll be looking to you, community. Thank you, community. Definitely leave your feedback. Shelly, yes, there is a new build out. It's not very different except for one fundamental thing. It is now running on Unreal 5. So that's what we definitely want to test and get your feedback on. Thanks, everybody, for the great stream. This skin is available till next Friday, and then is gone again for a year. So if you want to grab it, it is running in-game. If you're here at the tail end of the stream, ha, 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 ha. There we go. All right, peace out.